Thanks, and thanks to the panel. Great discussion, great morning. As in everything, the devil is in the detail. So when I'm looking at the Dirty Dozen principles, I'm looking at principle 12 on encryption, which says, okay, products innovation in encryption products and so on, while allowing law enforcement access to communications consistent with applicable law. How should that be interpreted in the US context?
I'm sorry, could you identify yourself?
I'm sorry, Jean-François WITA.
He's French.
I figured that part out. I couldn't figure the adjunct. Canadian?
So, I could be.
No. Canadian's great.
So I would say I think we have a fair amount of clarity in the United States right now about what that means. Because I think that was your question. I mean, in the sense that companies are free to develop encryption, consumers are free to use it. We do have an export regime for certain kinds of custom high-end encryption that continues to be enforced against certain, particularly with certain nation states. And we have law enforcement access to data where it's available, subject to our law, warrants for content. We have other kinds of procedures for metadata and other kinds of content. So I think that we have a pretty well established rule of law here that has evolved over the last 15, not evolved, for the last 15 years, that I think offers a lot of clarity around it. And I think we have a position now that's been stated by the president pretty clearly that and as he has said, we need strong encryption. And at the same time, we continue to be very concerned about making sure law enforcement and national security communities have the ability to do their jobs. And so that will be an area of continued interest. We've been very clear in the administration position that we're not seeking legislation in this area at the time because of the belief that solving those law enforcement and national security issues is something that's best done in collaboration with the private sector. The private sector has led us in this area in the past and will continue to be the place we find those solutions. And I would just say from the Commerce Department perspective, we do a lot of work on encryption standards, we do a lot of work on privacy issues, and we're acutely aware of the global realities facing us in this, which is that the reality of mathematics is that people can build encryption systems anywhere in the world. And the reality of global economics is if our companies don't do it here, others will do it abroad. I think that's probably a part of what we've seen in even the market developments that have happened this week with WhatsApp and others. So I think we've had a pretty clearly stated position now on this from the White House.
We know bad people are going to do bad things. And we also know that we as individuals have an interest in protecting our personal integrity, our privacy. As we move into a digital world and we expose more of ourselves in a lot of different ways, security becomes indispensable. Today's best available security technology is encryption. I have no idea what will be in 5 years. It may be something completely different. A lot of the focus now is on encryption. The TPP focus on encryption is actually correct, which is it shouldn't be permitted to be a market access barrier. It does not try to resolve the far more complex and difficult question of what is an appropriate circumstance for government to have access to data, and what kind of data, and what can private parties do to protect themselves against intrusions by others. So those are questions, frankly, which need time to ripen. We have very sharp points of view on this. FBI director has sharp points of view on this. British intelligence does. The Belgian intelligence does. These are difficult challenges. But TPP does the right thing on the issue, which is to say, you can't use the fact that you are using encryption as a basis for establishing a market access barrier. And that's an important step forward.
I just have one more
question, maybe we can end our discussion on it, and that is, you've highlighted, Emery, a lot of the challenges that we face in the EU with the Privacy Shield in particular. But just for the panel generally, what are the prospects for getting the EU on board with the Digital 24?
I don't work in government anymore.
I'll take a slightly broader view of it, which is just to say that I think in our broad conversations, and I would say even just recently, I was in Boston last month with the Secretary Pritzker, Vice President Ansip from the European Commission. It's very clear that they did a public roundtable at the end of our bilateral conversation. We have so much in common in terms of our views in the broad scheme of things on the importance of open societies, the importance of trade, the importance of free access to knowledge and information for people around the world, the importance of human rights. That I think that in the long run, we are allies in this broad conversation that is happening about the free and open internet. And so we are hopeful about how the next set of agreements will evolve.
Okay, well, I want to thank our panelists this morning for a very lively and informative discussion. Thank you all very much.